moving on to our favourite player, Jack Higgins. The Hawks versus Tigers clash at the MCG on Sunday afternoon in a game that was really under Richmond's control for most of the afternoon, but they did have to hold off a surging Hawthorn outfit that was coming quite hard towards the end. Wouldn't have been an issue if it wasn't for Dan Butler trying to be way too cute, which I think had Richmond fans as frustrated as Damien Hardwick was in the box. But at the same time, I don't think that game was ever in doubt. It was an impressive response after last week against Adelaide, and it just says what we know, that Richmond's going to be right up there at the pointy end of the season, and they're probably a top 14.
Yeah, Richmond, the way Richmond plays is the perfect counter to how Hawthorn plays. Because Hawthorn, they like to
control it,
hold on
possession,
to possession, and transfer place from
side to
side. Where Richmond just preferred to go down the line and get it forward as quickly as possible.
They just take the game on.
Just deal with it when it gets there, kind of.
And the other thing, it's a clash of styles like you talked about, but if you look at it, when Richmond take the game on, how many times do they go inside 50 and find someone open, or they find someone where there's just space? There's space everywhere.
That's because they've got fast forwards that can run back into the forward line.
You then watch Hawthorn style, and a lot of the reason they lost that game was there was a patch of 5 to 10 minutes where they were coming, where they just kept bombing it in, and Rance, Asprey and Grimes were just picking it off. It was like shelling peas. Every time I was like, why are you doing this? It doesn't work. So that entry inside 50, when you take so long, you let these intercept guys set up. It's exactly what they want.
Well, were they trying to go deep like Adelaide did and isolate Rance? Like, was that the aim?
The difference is, though, Adelaide isolated Rance on Jenkins, but gave him space. Hawthorn didn't give him any space. So, they isolated him, but there was 5 metres between him and the next opponent. If you looked at him versus Jenkins, there were times where there was like 25 to 30 metres of space. That's when you have a chance against Rance. But like when we've got 5 metres and the kick is hanging in the air for 10 seconds, I mean, the likes of Asprey, Grimes and Rance are going to pick that off every day of the week. Yeah. I don't know the exact stats, but the intercept marks would have been quite high because by the look of it, they were dominating in the air.
Yeah, the one issue with Hawthorn is they don't take that game on. And I think it was in the second term, they had it off the halfback flank, and instead of going down the line where there's a loose man, they transitioned the ball to the other side of the field.
I think it was Tom Mitchell.
Yeah,
Tom Mitchell had one in the middle and he didn't take it.
That's why they're always in games, because they hold possession, they retain the ball. So you're not going to smash them because they've got the ball more than you do. It's like that's how Carlton played last year and the year before, and that's why they were in games regularly as well.
Which is an all right flaw, but if you don't take the game on, eventually that's your ceiling. Like, you've got to be able to... In saying that, though, it has worked for Hawthorn with the dynasty they've been able to build. Yeah. But
is it concerning for Richmond that so far this season there's been 5 players that have kicked 4 or more goals against them, and last season only 6 players did that
for the whole year?
Whole year.
I'm not too worried because... Look, I saw what happened to Collingwood in 2010, and then I saw what happened to Collingwood in 2011, and I would much prefer Richmond to not be as switched on at the start of the year and build into it, because I saw Collingwood destroy teams for the first 15 rounds of 2011, look unbeatable, and then fade away to the point where they lost the grand final. I don't have an issue with it as long as towards the back end of the season, that defense starts to pick up a little bit. I don't think it's too much of a concern right now. But if it continues, then yeah.
I don't think that should be an issue because Richmond, even after they won the flag, 10 minutes after the flag, they weren't in the top 4 of the favourites for the 2018 flag. Yeah. They should still be hungry.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the issue.
And I think that the thing for Richmond as well is they've got selection pressure of the best kind, really. I mean, with the performance of Higgins, you've still got Shai Bolton, who wasn't selected. Rioli's will presumably come back in when he's healthy. Caddy wasn't there. Dion Prestia wasn't there. They're likely to come in. Sam Lloyd, Jaden Short, Reece Conker, they'll be under selection
Anthony
pressure.
Miles.
Nathan Broad's available.
Yeah. It's a good problem to have. They've got no issues in terms of having people to come in and fill a role, especially in that small forward position, which...
I think Jake Higgins has already overtaken Shea Bolton.
In one game, you're giving it to Jack.
Because Jack does what Shea Bolton doesn't, and that's play a team-style football. He chases back, he tackles.
He's more physical
Shea
as well.
Bolton is more of the fancy kind of player who wants to kick goal of the year, mark of the year.
What did you think of Shea Bolton? Same management as Dusty, holding off contract talks after playing 7 AFL games.
Ralph Carr does that with all his players.
But like 7 AFL games, like, what, you're kidding yourself?
That's how he does it.
Yeah.
So I think he'll re-sign, but that's just how Ralph Carr does it.
As good as the win was for Richmond, I don't think it's alarm bells for Hawthorn. As much as I don't want to admit it, and their game style needs a bit of a tweak, I do think they're going to be up there this year. And I think that if they fix their forward 50 entries and didn't just bomb it in, it could have been quite a different result.
Yeah.
Because from where I was watching it on television, it was getting to the point of ridiculous where I was just sitting there going, you've just kicked it to Rance again. You've just kicked it to Grimes again. Like, when the ball's in the air, you just knew there's no chance. If they fixed those entries, I think it could have been a different ball game, and I don't think it's too much of an issue for Hawthorn.
They were without Burgoyne and Sicily.
Exactly, and Burgoyne's one of those players who can deliver the ball inside 50 a lot better than just bombing it as well. Just quickly, Tom Mitchell, he had 42. I don't think he had anywhere near as much of an impact as he had against the Cats last week.
No, not at all.
Yeah. Against the Cats, I thought he bettered the big three, but he kind of started to get those cheap handballs.
There was one on the wing where he basically stole the ball out of his teammate's hand. He took the ball out of his hand. And the Hawthorn fans are counting all his possessions. It's starting to become a joke now.
It's becoming that, give it to me, I'll give it back to you, give it to me, I'll give it back to you.
Let's just count how many possessions I can get, and the fans just want to see how many he can get.
Yeah, I do think he can. I mean, he did kick a nice goal, and against the Cats, he was phenomenal. In my mind, he got the 3 best. I'm not flip-flopping. I still think he's a phenomenal player. I just don't think that game was 42 quality possessions.
Do you think it's a case of he looks good in the wins, and in the losses it's like, oh, okay, it's the
No,
handballs.
even if the Cats had have overrun them at the death, I still would have,
in that game,
unless Danger or Ablett
obviously.
or Selwood had have kicked a winning goal or something, I still would have said he deserved the 3.
But the games where you see they're not going to win it from maybe
wins and losses will skew everything.
I feel for a midfielder, for every 20 possessions they get, they should have at least kicked 1 goal.
Yeah,
if he has 40 disposals, he's got to kick 2 goals. Yeah, that's how I see it.
But it's just
for him
also
to have
like
a really good game.
The impact, like I would have taken Fife's 38 touch game that also had 15 clearances, 7 inside 50s, 25 contested possessions over Mitchell's 42 this week. He was more damaging, and that's the knock.
But would you say he had a better game than Martin and Cochin, who had half the disposals that he had?
Dusty only had 21. I thought Dusty was pretty quiet.
Dusty was a facilitator, though.
Yeah. There was a few times where he could have gone for goal, tried to pass it off, messed up the one time he did go for it. It wasn't a great Dusty game. He wasn't bad, but it wasn't the usual standard that we've come to expect